Hey gang, Ross Brand here for Ross and Nez, and we are thrilled to bring you a three-part conversation with Chris Kubbernus, Cubby, someone both Nez and I have great respect for, both as a digital marketer and as a person and a friend. And we decided that our conversation was really supposed to be about 10 minutes. We decided that, well, it's just such a wealth of great information and a good time talking with Cubby that we ended up going over an hour. So we're going to break it up into 3 episodes of the podcast and 3 YouTube videos. And we'll start with episode 1, where we talked about some of the things we don't like about marketers and also some of the things that marketers do well. And we got into building an audience. And without further ado, here is part 1 of our conversation with Cubby. We have a great guest joining us today. It's Cubby, Chris Kubbernus, all the way from Copenhagen. And Nez, I am so excited to talk to this guy. He is the real deal with social media and digital marketing. I can't wait.
Can I just be like 100%? Like, I'm usually a big fat liar, but I want to be 1,000,000,000% honest right now. I hate marketers for the most part. For the most part, I can't stand them. Like, they all have this sort of stiff, like, very myopic way of looking at things, and they could see the hunger in their vibe and their energy, and they're not like, there just seems to be this like lack of awareness and understanding that, like, well, maybe, I should evolve. Maybe I should try something new. Maybe I should be a little more humble. And I can't think of anybody. Now, Chris is going to hate this, but I can't think of anybody who personifies like the way that I feel you should be marketing in 2018, 3018, 4018, doesn't matter, than Mr. Chris Kubbernus. And I'm pumped.
Thanks, man.
To have Chris on the show. And I can't wait to talk to him because, correct me if I'm wrong, Chris, but to me, it's like, it's not marketing, it's not advertising, it's not selling, it's storytelling and understanding who is behind the curtain and also who is going to be receiving what comes behind the curtain and really being transparent. And I want to get into it. I just can't wait to talk to Chris. It's going to be awesome.
Wow. Thanks for the intro, man. I really super appreciate it. And I think, I think you're right in some aspects. I also hate marketers. I've actually done YouTube videos about this. There's a section of us. There's a section of us that are amazing and great people. And then there's a section of us that work more on perception than they do on reality.
Right.
And I think that's a problem. And I think, social media, I love it, but I also hate it. It has also opened up the ability to create a perception without actual reality, without truth, without some humanity in it. And that's where I sort of draw the line and say, you know what, like, I'm not gonna fake it till I make it. I'm not gonna put on a show here. I'm just gonna do my thing, and hopefully people see that I'm genuine and authentic, and that I'm not, trying to put on a show. I'm just trying to live my life and use social media as a tool and sort of do things that way.
Let me clarify, if I may, Chris, and I think maybe I was a little too brash to start.
Like, I don't walking it back.
Somebody get the backpedaling.
You don't have to backpedal. Not for me, anyway. Like, I agree with you.
But it's
Jam it right into reverse.
Yeah. I didn't mean anything I just said. No, I'm kidding. But like, it's like, I hate market. It's like, to me, it's like, dude, you're a human being. What is it about you that's a human being that relates to what I want as a human being? Ross and I both work with clients, and I know you have a kick-ass agency too. It's like, I always try to really convey this to my clients is stop trying to think, okay, that you need to like immediately just turn it into this production. You know what I mean?
Right.
It doesn't have to necessarily be this like marketing, advertising, selling campaign. Do you know what I mean? Like, Chris, it's like, it's like, just be natural. Just talk to them. Just show them who you are. And if it clicks, fantastic. If it doesn't, there's 7.8 billion people out there. It's not the end of the world, right? Like, That's right. And the reason I'm talking about, and I want to get into email marketing because I'm like so like interested, and I've been checking your stuff out. I check it out all the time. I love what you've been saying about email marketing, and we'll get into that. But it's like, this is what I love about what you're doing is it's almost like bringing that human thing. I'm all about the human thing. Like you're bringing that into this, literally this beautiful party called the internet, which it can be a great place to make money. It's a great place to make, create relationships, to nurture who you are, to really convey your purpose and to attract and generate leads and generate growth and generate followers and what have you, and just have a community. Like, it's just, to me, that's what it's all about. It's really about like showing that you're not afraid to look like a complete fool. And when I go to these conferences, Chris, and I'll stop.
You don't need much help with that.
Here's the Captain Fool.
I love the duo that you guys have here. It's really nice.
Hey Ross,
I love it.
Hey Ross, do me a favor, take a nap. Anyway, no, but here's the thing.
I fell asleep when you were in the middle of that monologue before.
Ross, wake up. Ross, wake up. Here's the thing. Like
I was going to say, people might be here to listen to Cubby, but go on.
That's what I think of. That's what I hate about some of this. That's what I mean by hating marketers. Is like, it's like don't try so hard. You don't have to. It reeks of like this desperation. Show me a human being. Don't be afraid to look silly. Everybody's I'm a marketer. I'm a businessman.
Right.
Like, dude. Right. Like I'm making mistakes right now. Like, I mean, literally as we speak.
Aren't Nez? Hey. Let me just redirect real quick. Like, Cubby,
put some reason into this.
Yeah, aren't we really talking about a certain breed of internet marketer?
Yes.
Because essentially, if you're in business, you're in marketing. If you have a product, you're in marketing. If you have a service, you're in marketing. Whether you're doing it or you're hiring somebody to do it for you or whatever. I think we may be talking about people for whom marketing on the internet is what they're about, and the product and the service comes second, right? So,
yeah, that's true.
Well said.
I feel like you work with companies to achieve business goals, and marketing follows from there. Not hey, let me see what I can sell on the internet, and then create a facade in order to get somebody to buy it.
You're right. You're you're almost spot on. There is a section of internet marketers that are only selling themselves and selling a persona. I mean, that's basically what the Paula Brothers do, right? The Logan Paul and what's his other guys? The other brothers.
Jake Paul. You'll have to explain this. You'll have to explain this to Ross.
Basically, what they sell, right? Like
Ross doesn't know anything outside of his 7-Eleven down the street from where.
Is there a 7-Eleven?
There's got to be.
Not really.
No.
But thanks, Nez.
There's nothing for miles.
We don't have that. We don't have that high culture here.
As foreign. I mean, Jake Paul's about as foreign as Demi Lovato to Ross. Ross, you still listen to Willie Nelson, don't you? And I love.
It's fantastic.
The
latest one was just terrific.
The latest one, like 10 years ago. Yeah, but Willie Nelson's great. But
Willie Nelson.
Besides that, there are some marketers that are shit, and I totally get the sentiment. And I don't know. Like, I've kind of made my peace with it and be like, you know what? Let them suss it out. Eventually, we're gonna find out who has the real goods. Right. You know what I mean? Eventually, the truth is like gonna come out, and that's I'm hoping that happens. Maybe not. I don't know. Like, but that's just the way it is. But on the flip side of like Ross was saying, I have an agency, and it we do marketing, and we take products to market for companies, and we use social media, and we use all the elements that we have about digital to actually help people sell stuff. And I think it's a very effective way of selling stuff, and it's pretty much the only way of selling stuff nowadays.
Yeah.
Of course, there's traditional marketing, like still does quite well. TV does quite well. Some print does quite well still. It just depends on what kind of product you have, what kind of branding you have, what kind of market you're in, all that kind of stuff. But essentially, and that's also maybe why I'm more real, as you said it, is that I'm actually dealing with companies and seeing, the effective marketing, not necessarily just trying to sell my own t-shirts or whatever.
It's
like
not
I'm
theoretical.
actually
It's not theoretical with you. It's experiential.
right. It's
You're in the thick of it. You're in the thick of it.
Yeah, basically. And I have been for the past almost 20 years now. Right. So
Right.
it's not like I'm, and that's also maybe why I've been successful in it, is because there's one thing about, there's one thing to sell yourself. There's one thing to be a social media star for yourself or internet marketer for yourself and sell your whatever. There's another thing actually dealing with clients and actually dealing with people and taking a brief and understanding their brand and understanding their marketplace and understanding how to work that to create sales and create attention for them. That's a
Right.
totally different ball game, right? Because now you're not dealing with a human being, you're dealing with a brand, and sometimes you can't humanize it as much as you'd like to. Sometimes you don't have that kind of brand. You have something else. Like sometimes you have to take a different approach. So, and that's probably why I've been successful, is because I understand that, I guess.
And you know what I like about you too, Chris, is you're not afraid to go after the so-called, social media superstars or what have you, who have this sort of, sometimes it can be nebulous and sort of vague, like advice, and not to name any names or anything like that, but I like how you stick to your guns. I like how you encapsulate you, and you always try to bring your own truth. And I remember this.
Thanks, man.
Chris might not remember this, and Ross and maybe our audience listening in the podcast and what have you might not know this, but this blew me away when Chris told me this when he was on my show. He was saying that even when he was a kid, do you remember this, Chris? Even when he was a kid, he would look at advertisements and be like, maybe I would have done maybe a little something different. It was interesting. He was like,
wow.
He was
cognizant. I was super weird.
I
was a super weird child. You guys, I can't
that's what's made you. I think that's the cornerstone of your success, is you know who you are, and it's not just because let's face it, everybody now is an internet marketer, as Ross said, but also everybody now claims, I call it coconuts and yachts. Everybody now claims they can get you, riches and millions, and hey, this is all you need to get that yacht. This is all you need, to get that Bugatti. Just follow me, or just take my course, or just and I love that.
It's so sad.
Yeah, and it's like.
Of course, if I had a yacht, I'd be hanging out on the yacht, not trying to convince people to take some internet.
Hey, don't you want a yacht?
Yeah,
well, come on, Maury's wigs never come off. Okay, that's a good fellow.
Okay, so I know a few people that have yachts. Okay, I know a few people that have yachts. They are not concerned about helping you get your yacht. Okay, they don't care about your yacht. They care about their yacht, and and they're nice people, but that's not their shtick, right? Like, it's so funny. Like, I think it's just, you have to kind of think about that. I saw, I was watching Instagram. I posted on my Instagram story a few days ago. There was a guy selling a book. I don't know if anybody saw this, and was like, it's a video of the book is on fire, and the book is about how to make millions. And he's like, I've made millions and blah, 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 and all the tips, and this book is going to be, this book is on fire. It's so great, and it's got all the tips you need in this. And then I'm like, and then I wrote, first page is, write a book about how to make millions and light it on fire. That's the first step to being a millionaire, is make a book about how to make millions and light it on fire.
Oh my God.
Right.
Right?
What would you say, Chris? What would you say? I love it. I think that's true. What would you say, Chris, to people like right now for 2018? I want to know what Cubby's agency and what Cubby's sort of vision is for 2018. And what would you say to people, especially those marketers that we've been talking about and people who are listening to this show? What would you say are some key things that they need to kind of understand about how to do it now, and how to really, because let's face it, everybody wants to grow their audience. Everybody would love to be an entrepreneur now. It seems like it's gone from geek to chic. Now being, when you call yourself an entrepreneur, when I was a kid, you were considered homeless, right? Now it's like,
Nobody called themselves an entrepreneur. It's like, oh, I'm
no, they
selling
just called
something.
them. Yeah, they said I'm a business owner or I'm a salesman or something like that.
It's so
right?
chic now. I don't even like using the word anymore, but I do.
No, there's definitely a pushback against it, right?
Yeah, but I do love what this technology has afforded me, myself, for my consulting business, and just for the ability to reach people and be able to communicate what I love to talk about. What would you say, Chris? Like, what are two parts? Like, what are you doing differently in 2018, or maybe consistently? And then what would you say to people who are like, what should I do, Chris?
Okay, so all right, so there's two angles to that. Like you said, there's the personal, like building their own personal Instagram or Snapchat or whatever they're building. And then there's another aspect, which is building a business. And I think you have to understand that one might be a lead gen tool, which is how my sort of shtick works, is that that's the main reason why I do anything on social, is because I can guinea pig it. So I'm the lab rat. I can test ideas against me, right, in a low risk environment that then we can take out to clients. Because I'm not worried about looking stupid, and I'm not worried about failing. But companies, they don't have that same risk appetite.
Yeah.
Right. So the main reason why I do my thing is not to build a personal brand so much, other than like it helps bring in clients, because then I get to do speaking gigs, and then potential clients see me speak and they're like, oh, that guy sounds pretty smart. Let's talk to him. So that sort of is a nice lead gen tool. And then it helps me sort of lab rat. The other part is like, have a product to sell, I think is really important. Like understanding that, like you said, like, what are you selling? I'm building a business that sells stuff, that sells services, right? And it's also, I think that a lot of entrepreneurs want to do this solo entrepreneur thing. They want to make, passive income.
Oh yeah.
And I say that is probably the worst idea ever. Like, you know what I mean? There's no such thing as passive income in my mind. Of course there is, maybe in real estate or in the stock market or something that you're investing in, Bitcoin or something. I don't know, but there's no real, like, passive income thing. So I think a lot of people need to understand, like, there's no get rich quick schemes that work. Right. Really, there's only maybe, we're talking about 0.0000001% that actually happens for.
Yeah.
So it's like winning the lottery in some cases.
Yeah.
So, don't think about getting rich quick, but think about, how do I build a sustainable business? And then on the side of that is, like, most people don't understand that there's a million business models out there that work. Find one. There's, like, you know what I mean? People, like, they get concerned about what is, you know what I mean? There's still, like, we deal with, clients from all sorts of different industries. And there was one that came to us that built $500 million in revenue in about 12, 15 years. And I was like, wow. And it's not a new business model. It's not a new type of product. It's the same old product, but they just did it well. And they did it in the internet age still. And I was like, there's still business models like that. So you don't have to come up with some, like, fancy thing. You just have to, like, okay, pick a business model, like, learn that you're in it for the long haul, and focus in on that. Like, how do we build? You don't have to
reinvent the wheel, in other words, right? Yeah.
No, like, you don't really have to, right? So that's one side. Now, that might be that's a philosophical sort of more advice. And then on the sort of social media side, what I think is really working well is I think there's something about authenticity. And when people say, excuse me, I got to take a little drink here. I got a little.
No, it's okay. It's fine.
This is tea, I swear.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, it's a
happy
nice
tea.
Happy tea.
It's after work hours over where you are. So
yeah, what time is it over there?
You don't have to apologize.
It's 8:45. So
okay, it's not too late.
It's not too late, but people who want to, okay, so authenticity, and that's a really tough thing to do nowadays. We're bombarded with messages from other people, and marketers and ideas, and it's very hard to find your own unique voice.
Yeah.
That takes meditation in some ways.
Oh, I love
that. It takes like understanding yourself very, very well.
Yeah.
And really looking at what are my core philosophies and what comes from me. And I think if you can figure out what comes from you and what you really truly believe and what your true philosophy is, not somebody else's ideology that you've adopted, then you can really start speaking to those that want to hear that message, right? So,
Nice.
So that's super difficult for people. This is the hardest thing ever.
Yeah.
I swear to God, because it is.
I agree 100%.
It's the hardest part. So if you want to build an audience, it really is about finding a bigger audience. Like if you want to build just any kind of audience, I think, understanding what is your unique voice into the world and try to find that. And that takes careful thought, internal thought.
And that wraps up part 1 of our 3-part conversation with Cubby. Do check back, rossandnez.com. Subscribe if you haven't done so. We will have 2 more episodes with conversations with Cubby where he gets into giving his advice for marketers and content creators for 2018. He also talks about how best to do advertisements. You don't want to miss the rest of the conversation. Again, rossandnez.com. Have a great day, everyone, and we will see you back for another episode of Ross and Nez, the live stream experience, real soon. Take care, everybody.